Hello, and welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. If you haven't seen me before, you probably recognize my face from the I-90 Surge. I was on your favorite team, Team EQS. What other team would it be? There are a good amount of three-row EV SUV offerings. We have the EV9, the R1S. Of course, we have things like the Model X, the EQS SUV, but we have another offering from Vinfast. The VF9 has now started deliveries. And if you check your local Vinfast dealer, there are a surprising amount of those across the United States. It is likely that they have them in inventory there. Just in my local Gainesville Vinfast delivery center, they actually have two Vinfasts in inventory right now. Now, let's kind of talk about the Vinfast VF9. Vinfast VF9 is the younger but bigger sibling to the VF8. If you're familiar with the channel, you've seen the VF8 before. It is part of the out-of-spec fleet. And while it is a pretty interesting vehicle, not super popular, a lot of things left to be desired. It is still a EV SUV, and that's what we cover over here on the Out of Spec podcast. Now let's go over to the configurator of the VF9. $69,800 is the starting price, which means I can't help but compare this to the Rivian R1S, which starts at $75,900, and the Kia EV9, which starts way below that at just $54,900 for the rear-wheel drive long-range version. So again, there's a lot of options here, but it tells you who they're competing against. However, again, we're going to talk about the EV9 and R1S in a second and how that really stands up. Now, the VF9 offers in two trims, just like the VF8, Eco and Plus. So the Eco is the higher range, lower trim version. The Plus is a higher trim, lower range version. When I say lower range, I don't mean like, oh, it's lost 100 miles and it has a smaller battery. Just mean that it probably has some extra features and it has better wheels. For the VF9's case, it has 21-inch wheels, while the Eco has 20-inch wheels. So of course it loses some range from there. But it all starts at $69,800. And we see here the Plus starts at $73,800. VinFast states that they're expecting 10 to 70% in 35 minutes. Now, what are the stats, right? You want to know how much range this EV's got. 330 miles of range. I think that's pretty comparable to what we see from the EV9 and Rivian R1S, especially with a 123 kilowatt hour battery. When you're looking at a dual motor vehicle, I think that, hey, 330 miles, that's really good, actually. 0 to 62, let's be specific here, 6.63 seconds. Not really the fastest, but are you going to the track with your VF9? I doubt it. 402 max horsepower, 402 horsepower, max horsepower. Personally, I think the biggest problem with the VinFast set of products is how it really doesn't stand out. The Rivian has great software. It is an off-road adventure vehicle. That's how it's branded itself as. It has some stupid quirks like the dynamic roof and even a flashlight in the door. We have something like the Lucid Gravity, super high range, super efficient, and it appeals to really a luxury audience. We have the Kia EV9. It is a really interesting looking car, really funny looking. It sets itself apart. For the VF9, I think this is just a really simple EV, kind of like the BZ4X from Toyota or the Honda Prologue. There really isn't anything super unique or special about it. However, it is an EV SUV offering, and if you're looking for an EV SUV, this will probably be on your radar. Now, something also to mention compared to the likes of the EV9, which I'll compare a lot in this video, VinFast has yet to commit to the North American charging standard. I think at some point, almost every automaker will commit to the North American charging standard from Tesla. VinFast has not committed to getting the North American charging standard. So this kind of like, it makes the VF9, again, not a compelling vehicle. There's a lot left to be desired here. Now let's open the configurator. So here in the VinFast configurator, we see that the Eco is blanked out. It says to be confirmed. And then we have the Plus here, which starts, again, $73,800. We have the power options here, 300 kilowatts, which converts to 402 horsepower, a 6.5 second 0 to 60, even though we just saw that it said 6.63, so someone's lying. Range 291 miles. Of course, the seating arrangement, 7 seats versus 6 seats with the captain's chairs. And that is a $1,250 option. Of course, you have your paint colors. You got to change the paint color of your car. Now, Vinfast has it where certain paint colors are locked to certain colors. So we see these 2 colors here. They're blocked out, and I believe Vinfast might open those later on. Of course, right, it says here that option not available with current combination, but there is no combination because you're only allowed 1 power option, and that's literally it here. And so if you pick the white paint, you can pick the brown and black color interiors. If you pick the black paint, you're only allowed to pick the black color interior. Same thing, Neptune Gray, you can pick black or brown. If you pick the green, black or brown, red, you're only allowed to pick black. Blue, you're allowed to pick black and green. Again, we have 2 other colors here. Not sure what the names are. It looks like to be some sort of black leather and a lighter brown leather that we see in some other VinFast press photos. And then, of course, we have these 2 other colors here, which looks like a silver as well as a gold, maybe bronze. So, yeah, the VinFast configurator, look, this is really bare bones. And again, Eco is the higher range version of the Plus. Primarily, this is because the Eco has 20-inch wheels. The Plus has these 21-inch wheels, which are included. But again, this configurator is really simple. I mean, you're just picking paint, interior options, and wheels, and that's really it. Again, speaks to the nature of how simple the VinFast is. But you know what? VinFast production's probably very smooth for them. And in my local inventory, I have 2 VF9s around me. And this one actually below here actually has live pictures. And we'll kind of use this as a comparison here. Front dual zone SUV. And we see 2 VF9s available in inventory at my local Gainesville dealer. So I'm sure in larger cities, maybe Miami, Los Angeles, you'll probably have a lot more VF9s in inventory. But if we look here, $77,000 for this VF9, $76,000 for this VF9 Plus. If we were to I'll go to Rivian, for instance, the R1 dual standard battery pack, LFP, 270 miles of range. You're getting Rivian software, better 0 to 60, more options, more luxurious inside, and that's cheaper than the VF9. Then I'll go to Kia. If we look at a comparable vehicle that starts around the same price as the VF9, which would be the Land all-wheel drive, well, similar range. I honestly think that this is not as compelling as I think VinFast has it. If this were closer to the even $40,000, $50,000 range, I think the VinFast 9 would be a arguably extremely compelling vehicle, which sounds crazy to say. It's like, oh my gosh, you think the VinFast could be good? I think the world is in need of really dumbed down EVs. Something really simple, nothing complex. Really simple EVs, maybe not the best charging, not great software. They're really just electric cars with, the brand spin of each automaker. I think this is pretty much VinFast's spin on a very simple 3-row SUV, and that's really all we want to see in the market. Competition breeds innovation. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about the VF9 in the comments, feel free to leave them down below. I will be answering as many questions as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Out of Spec podcast. Stay charged, and I hope to see you in the next one.